Let's go with some Nissan Advanced Metrics presented by Nissan. Nissan, designed for people who refuse to settle for less. Visit nissanusa.com or your local dealer. Now, Javier Assad, he gets the pill tonight from Craig Counsell and Lance. The numbers, they suggest that, well, he shouldn't really be that good, but the numbers that he's put up suggest that he has really been that good. Why has he done everything contrary?
Yeah, I mean, this is at the crux of what you'd call player projection. So internally, the Cubs and every organization have models they put together based off performance numbers to try to determine, okay, this guy did this, but if we project him going forward, what is he going to do? Those are two very different questions. It's very easy to understand what the guy did. Yeah. The problem is kind of separating what Assad's skills are as a pitcher from perhaps how good the defense has been, the park he's played in, whether he has like some clutch element aura to him that allows him to be so good with runners in scoring position. Exactly. All those things are kind of layered on top. That's what you get in the ERA. When you strip all that out, that's when you get to something called fielder independent pitching or FIP. You often hear this kind of in the nerd circles, but it's the basic way, and I would say it's the way that a lot of models are structured in organizations, is to look at these elements. How many guys do you strike out? How many do you walk? How many homers do you give up? Based off that, we can kind of determine on an ERA scale, okay, this is how good we expect you to be. But Assad has been the guy in baseball since 2023 who has the largest differential between results on the field and this more kind of FIP angle, which is like, hey, we think he controlled all these things such that he should have had this ERA. But instead, he's been an unbelievable pitcher. Every time, he's got over 360 innings of like a 3.5 ERA, yet the FIP says he should have been like a 4.5 pitcher. That's a huge difference.
So he's been bucking the trend. Everyone says that he should be down here, but he's really been right up there. Just all the naysayers, he's been keeping him at arm's length.
He has, and I mean, that gets into like what he does as a pitcher and why it's so important. And also why it's so fascinating to me that he's a guy that it seems like, I would say the Cubs haven't had the longish leash with, where they've kind of been like, okay, he has a couple rough starts, he's back down to AAA, partially because he has options. It's kind of the options game and a lot of major league rotations. Shota's also on this board, which is kind of surprising. I think he's just a guy who's done a really good job pitching to the park he's in. So that park element I mentioned, that is not considered in something like ERA, where you're kind of stripping it out and trying to understand the pitcher's skill, is a little bit different. But Assad is really an outlier in this metric of looking at performance versus what we expect the performance to be.
Do sometimes the metrics, do they take into consideration the overall package? Say Javier Assad was 6'5" and 213 pounds, and he pounded that exact same velocity, but was able to tick it up just maybe a mile an hour or two. Would the FIP look the same?
It would, but I would say that if he did that and he started throwing harder, then the strikeouts would kick up. And that would be good for his FIP, because FIP is, again, looking at, do you punch guys out? How many guys do you allow from a base runner standpoint? And how many home runs do you allow? Assad, for the most part, just doesn't miss a lot of bats. So that's, I think, the main thing that is driving that FIP up and going, hey, allows a lot of ball in play, doesn't allow a ton of home runs, but we're not convinced, the FIP school is not totally convinced that he's a guy that can be a 3.5 ERA pitcher going forward. I think that's why maybe there aren't a lot of guys who have 360 major league innings with a 3.5 ERA that are stuck in AAA.
And why does FIP work to benefit of some guys? Because there's almost like a built-in excuse. They say, well, you know, he should be a whole lot better than what he's shown. Let's give him another shot, right?
I mean, yeah, it's a great point. Like, for the most part, there's always going to be outliers on the tails. The idea is that by assuming something like FIP is your kind of North Star, you'll, for the most part, in that larger sample of pitchers, be accurate in your projections. But of course, the guys on the tails are always kind of the outliers. You have guys in the complete inverse direction of this, where the underlying numbers say they should be amazing, but then they have 4.8 ERAs and they can't stay in the majors. Assad and Shota are kind of on the other side of this. But again, I think Assad particularly is just a bit of an odder outlier than some of these other Andrew Abbotts and Shotas that are on that board we showed.
Okay, and we see right there, FIP measures performance based on controllable events. So I want to know, orgs, are they going with FIP or are they going with WHIP? Because both of those are pretty important right about now.
Sure, yeah. WHIP is good. It's reflective and it's somewhat predictive as well. But again, like, pitcher skill is generally derived from strikeouts, walks, and homers, and that's how you get to FIP. It's more the layering things on top of that, and whether I think the big thing to think about here is like the intangible element, like the psychological element. This is like a runners in scoring position conversation to some extent. It's like, does this guy in this moment step up and rise to the occasion to be better than he normally is in these spots? That's probably the best argument for Assad, where his strand rate over the last couple seasons has been unbelievable. Does he have some intangible thing that when he gets runners on, he's like, listen, I know this is my spot. I have to get ball on the ground. I have to get double play. I'm not going to allow this guy to score. He's done that for 360 innings. It's just a matter of whether he continues to do it.
Is there anyone in particular off the top of your head whose FIP is right there and their actual numbers are extremely close?
I can try to find it for you very quickly. This is going to be, give me a second here. I can do it.
All right.
Count in. We have like a timer
the Jeopardy
here.
time music. Yeah, exactly. Is it going to be a guy like Chris Sanchez or someone who's absolutely dealing?
It's weirder. So Jordan Montgomery is an interesting one since 2023. Reed Detmers of the Angels has been a guy who has terrible results but really good underlying data. Jesus Luzardo is a great example this season where unbelievable underlying data just seems to always get beat up. He's got like a 4.5 ERA despite the fact he's striking out like 30% of the batters he faces. So some mixed names in there. It's not usually like one kind of pitcher that we run into with this huge variance.
It's like expectations. You're expected to do one thing. Sometimes the numbers, they say you're going to do something else. But Javier Assad, he has bucked those trends all season long and his entire career. Shota Imanaga doing more of the same since 2023 as well. Lance.
That was great. That was fun.
Appreciate that. So it's FIP versus WHIP. We'll find out which one is more important over these next 3.